Robert Bonavito here. Welcome to another discussion of New Jersey Forensic Accounting. Today we're going to talk about how a forensic accounting firm can save the world and help settle litigation. The U.S. government spends way over $12 trillion on trying to stop nuclear proliferation by rogue states. They weren't successful until they hired a few forensic accountants who were able to uncover fraudulent accounts within these rogue states and shut them down. That's the power of a forensic accountant. If we can do that, can you imagine what we can do for your case? Litigation cost is much more than attorney's fees, and that's why it's critical that you have someone who can assist you in your case. Some of the other costs that you have to think about when you're in litigation are preoccupation of management. Okay, management is going to be involved. They're going to be needed within the litigation. Lost time of key personnel. They're going to have to devote their time to the litigation. Disruption of scheduling and budgeting. If you have a deposition or a trial, you can't postpone it. Okay, that's going to take away from your business. The chance of defeat. There's no guarantee you're going to win no matter how well the trial goes. You know, juries and judges are not really predictable. In most situations they are, but there are cases where you just don't understand how they came to the conclusion they came to. The ability to collect a judgment. Okay, we've been in cases where we've won the case, but we couldn't collect the judgment, or we had difficulty collecting the judgment because they tried to go bankruptcy, they hid the money. So these things it complicates it a lot. The danger of counterclaims. If you sue somebody, they may sue you, right? Forensic accounting firm that has decades of experience can reduce this risk. And that's why it's important that you have a good forensic accountant. How we help your case. The most important thing with a forensic accountant is to bring them on as early as possible. Don't wait to the last minute. Don't call us 3 weeks before the trial. Bring us on right away. Okay, a lot of people are hesitant to do that because of the cost. But any money you pay a forensic accountant who's good, you'll be paid back 100 or 10 times that amount. Okay, because foundational is one way we help. At the beginning, we can help you explain damages, help you with strategy and tactics. Maybe you want to have a different type of lawsuit. So all that stuff we can get involved with. That's foundational. That's one way we help. Interpersonal. We have experience in interviewing. We can interview people. We could help you with think about depositions, whose deposition you should take. And again, these things all should be done, day one if you're going to sue. Data collection and analysis, okay? Because we can collect data and analyze it, we can help prepare interrogatories, depositions, and trial. And the importance of this is that if we can help you take someone's deposition and give you questions, you'll lock them in so they can't change their story at trial. This happens a lot. So we have a unique ability to get data and analyze it. Preparation of experts' reports and testimony at trial. Most people don't realize this, but if we go to court to testify as an expert, we're considered an arm of the court, and we're there to explain the facts to a jury or a judge so they can understand it and make a reasonable conclusion. And this is extremely important because people think that if I go to court and testify, I'm telling them I'm testifying to my opinion. And I'm there to show the judge or the jury this is why they should rule, or these are the damages. And if sometimes people don't want us to be an expert because maybe they don't like what we found, well, in a case like that, we can act as a consultant. We can advise them behind the scenes. No one knows we're there. We can give them, again, we can help them with depositions and trial testimony and stuff like that. Let's talk about a case we had last year. We had to testify, and let me just give you some background. This case here involved two shareholders who started a company, 50-50 each ownership. And one had a background in marketing and one in engineering. And what they wanted to do was start a wastewater processing purification equipment. Now, this is big pieces of equipment the size of a dump truck that they would make and mainly sell to municipalities to help with their wastewater processing. It's not a sophisticated piece of equipment, but it's complex. It has to last a long time. It has to do the job. And what they did was they bought some patents and they did some research and improved upon the patents, and they started to sell the equipment in the United States, Europe, and Puerto Rico. Again, this was the total addressable market of this equipment. It was tremendous, hundreds of billions of dollars, and there were some big companies in there. And so what happened was, it was so competitive that they had to work a lot, really hard, to get this off the ground. And like I said, they did get to sales, and they were moving forward slowly. One of the shareholders decided that he didn't want to spend his time there anymore, and he wanted to start another business. And unfortunately, the other shareholder, he got sick. So what he did was he brought in his daughter to handle the company. Now, the daughter continued to scale the business. She improved manufacturing, marketing, and the business started to show improvement. They started to take market share, started to grow. And like I said, this is a massive addressable market that they could sell this to. The business began to improve. The other shareholder said, hey, I want more capital distributions. I want more perks. I want more benefits. Finally, there was a dispute, and he decided to sell her 10% of his position. So her father owned 50%. She bought 10% from him, and the remaining 40%. But things spiraled out of control, and they started to dispute. So a lawsuit was started. And the purpose of the lawsuit was to buy the remaining 40%. So we had to go in and value the firm and say, okay, here's what this 40% is worth. So how we were able to help settle this case, even though, it settled after trial, but, the judge made a ruling, but they did settle it finally. Okay, with decades of experience, we bring a different perspective. When we got involved early in this case, I was able to tell the attorneys that, listen, we went into the company, we did some preliminary stuff, and I explained to them, I said, listen, go forward with the litigation now, because this business is going to be tremendously successful. And right now, the valuation is reasonable. She can afford to buy the remaining 40% of the stock of the other shareholder. And so we were able to act as a sounding board because the attorneys had their view, the client had their view, but we really pushed to get this thing going because we thought it was a great time to settle the company. And we give unbiased opinions. They would not have had that opinion if they didn't bring our firm in. We were able to obtain organized critical facts and documents. We were able to prove that she did buy, because there was even a dispute that she purchased the 10% from the other shareholder. We were able to find documentations and emails and make a file that showed she did buy it and how they valued the company when she bought that 10%. We were able to develop tactics and strategies, okay? For example, with the interrogatories, we sat down with her and we interviewed her employees. We went to the attorneys. We talked to them a lot. We were able to add to the interrogatories they sent to the other side. We were able to devise deposition questions that they used all of them. We usually give the attorneys 100 or 200 questions to ask, and they'll pick and choose what they want. Or they'll ask one question that will lead to 10 other questions. But they used all of our questions in the deposition. And so what this did was they had an expert on their side saying the business was worth, $1 gazillion. And we were saying something that we thought was fair at the time, because this is what the business is doing now. And the projections, there's no guarantee you're going to increase and make $1 gazillion. So, we were able to lock them in. And because we organized all the files, the attorneys had everything they needed. And this is, again, during the pandemic. So all the trial was done through Zoom, which complicated things more, but we were pretty good with it. So it didn't affect us. But anyway, all this stuff came into to one important thing. We were able to quantify the damages. I was able to say that this is the range of the damages or what we're going to buy the stock for. And they all kind of understood it. This is what I think the business is worth. It's not worth zero, right? Even though he wasn't there, he's still a shareholder. And that's how we went to trial. Now, we testified, and we made it. Our testimony was very clear, very precise. The judge asked a couple questions. We had they had pros, which went well. In fact, it went so well, our testimony, that the shareholder that we were helping was so happy and delighted. And the attorneys were extremely happy too. And I had I said, listen, guys, okay, everything went as planned, but that does not mean we're going to get everything we want. Again, because you don't know what the attorney's thinking, you don't know what the judge is thinking, you don't know what the jury's thinking. But the verdict came in, and we did pretty much get what we thought. And the main theme for this is that this law firm got us in early. They listened to our advice. If they agreed with it, they used it. And if they didn't, we debated it. The client too. It was a group effort. And that's why it's important to get a forensic accounting into your case. If it's an important case. If it's not important, don't bring a forensic accountant in. Bring us in early, Bring us in the case if it's important. If it's not, don't bring us in. Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick discussion of how we help in litigation. If you have any questions, leave them below. And please join my YouTube channel. It helps a lot. Subscribe to that. Thank you.